Alright, this is going to be a tutorial on service agreements. And do you really know why you're using service agreements, or are you just faking it because everybody else is doing it? I want you guys to understand the why behind the service agreements. There's different ways of doing it. 44 years ago, it was different than this today. So I'm going to take you through the evolution of it, and we'll talk about it if you have questions. All right, so service agreements. Do you really know why, or are you faking it? Sorry. So why service agreements? Reason number 2 is to lock in your customer. Okay, that's why we want service agreements. That's the reason number 2 why you want service agreements, is to lock that customer into you. The number 1 reason, though, is predictable cash flow. Right? So where's this cash flow coming from? So it starts with, how do you price your service agreements? I've seen service agreements out there for $450, $600 to $99. Okay? And as long as you understand the why behind the pricing of the service agreements, that's cool. So I'm going to make sure that you understand that as we go through this. So how to set the pricing for service agreements. Identify what services you will be providing. A system check only, or a system check and a cleaning. Okay? Both are great practices as long as you understand the following. And this is the history lesson. Pricing a service agreement 44 years ago, 1980, Ron Smith created the first HVAC service agreement that I'm aware of. Okay, I happened to talk to Ron and a good friend of his, Charlie Greer, who actually taught me this process anyway. So this is where the service agreements started from my world. Some of you may be older, I get it. So the reason here is create a predictable cash flow pricing model. I see too many contractors out there charging the wrong price for the service that they believe they're offering. Okay? And you have to match that. You got to match the price with the offering. So create predictable cash flow pricing model here. Okay? Three age levels for service agreements. Okay? There's definitely 3 age levels for service agreements. And you have to understand that before you understand your service agreement. So I'm taking you through this, and I hope you please, if you have questions, please let me know. Going back to Ron Smith, he had a gold level. That was one of his levels. He had a silver level, and he had a bronze level. Okay? That's all good, but what is in the gold? What is in the silver? What is in the bronze? Well, hang on, we're going to get to it. Okay? So on the gold level, predictable cash flow pricing model, 3 age limit service agreements for the gold. Now understand, this was 1980. Okay? $397 for your service agreements. I should say 34 years ago. My math might be bad, so I'll go with 4 there. Okay. 1 to 5-year-old systems qualified for the gold. Why gold? Why 1 to 5-year-old? Okay. Manufacturer covered the equipment for the first 5 years back in 1980, and some people believe that still happens today. Okay? And it may, to a point, but not like it used to, because they used to cover the labor and the material for you back then. Okay? Manufacturer warranty covers equipment for 5 years. Zero opportunity for repair revenue here. That's why the price is high. Okay? The manufacturer's taking over that cost for the repair. So you have to charge a price knowing that the manufacturer's going to charge you for that for those equipment repairs. They're not going to charge you specifically, but they have that built in. So service agreements would be nothing if you had no chance to repair anything, or price in the predictable cash flow for 2 visits by offering predictable system needs. Those needs are cleaning service, okay, along with the system check, aka thorough evaluation of the system. You're going to do a thorough evaluation of the system, okay? In order for this to happen, you got to build in the cleaning price in this as well, okay? Silver was $279. That's for the 5 to 10-year-old system. Understand, this is a history lesson, okay? Just want you to know that. Manufacturers covered the equipment for the first 5 years, okay? The reason that, as I go back up here, people went in and cleaned their systems. They did their system checks, but they didn't really clean the system because they didn't really care, because the manufacturer was going to pay the price anyway. Okay? So, but they sold that agreement for $397 because there was no money to get. If there was any repairs at all, that's going to be a warranty issue for you. So you got to be able to have the cleanings backed up for you. So the cleaning was for the year. You're going out there twice a year. Understand, this is several years ago. It's $397. Okay? The silver level is $297. Now that's got systems that have components that are failing, so you're going to get some of that money. So he dropped his price $100 on that. So the manufacturer covered the first 5 years. New opportunity for revenue on the equipment on plus 5 years old. So the cleaning portion was still part of that for $297 because they lowered that cleaning price. Okay, basically, because that's the service that they're going to be able to perform, is the cleaning side of it. Okay, but now they're getting the repairs. Okay, whereas before in the gold level, they weren't getting any of the repairs because the manufacturer was taking all the cost on that. So it didn't cost the company anything, but they didn't get any revenue for it either. So it was basically in their warranty process. So to make money on the servicing the equipment, you know, that's why the price was $397, because there was no parts. So they had to get that $397 for the year for the cleaning. Now understand, that was 1980. Okay? With silver, you're going to get the repair parts in Ron's process here. You're going to get the repair parts, but now the cleaning is going to be $300 or $297. But now the company's going to get the repair parts over the 5-year-olds, over the 5-year-old systems. Okay? And then priced in the predictability of cash flow for two visits by offering the predictable system needs for cleaning service, along with a system check, aka known as a thorough evaluation of the system. Okay, and this is where you'll find your components on the silver level here. Okay. Now, reduced prices on cleanings due to the opportunity for the repairs. You can see that gold was $397, and now for the silver, it's basically $297, but they're getting the opportunity for the repairs right now. Now Ron had the third agreement, a bronze agreement. It was $99 on all systems over 10 years old. Well, you definitely don't want to lose a customer on a service agreement at a $397 level or a $297 level, but you still want to clean the system. So basically Ron charged $99, okay, for this on 10-year-old systems with the predictability that those systems weren't going to last and they could turn and get a new system out of it. So systems 10 years are ripe for replacement, did not front load cleanings in order to keep the customer in the service agreement. That was his thought process behind that. Okay? However, offered cleaning options with every visit. So they offered the cleaning options and they were very successful at getting the cleaning options. Okay? They didn't build the cleaning option. That $99 for that is helping with the cleaning process. But the cleaning visits were $150 per visit. That was 35 years ago. I can't get the math right here. It's either 35 or 36. Which one is it, man? Anyways, so cleaning is part of this. So they're gaining $99 for the agreement and $150 for the cleaning for over 10-year-old systems. Okay? And that's why the price went down for them on that aspect, because they didn't want to lose that customer that had the equipment coming at them. So the gold plan was basically $397, but it says 36 years ago. Let me do the math right quick. It should be 34 years ago because it's 24, and that would be 34 years ago. All right. Silver is $297 back then, and bronze was, this is just a summary page, $99. All right. Now that was how Ron Smith. If you don't know who Ron is, you need to check him out, look him up. He's like the godfather of HVAC. I mean, everybody followed Ron's process because he was very successful at it. Okay, so how will you properly structure your service agreements? Giving your companies predictable cash flow. What questions might you have? Predictability. Service agreements give you predictability. Okay, why was that predictability? Think about why service agreements is a predictable income stream. Okay. Predictable revenue on every call. Where is that predictable revenue on every call? What predictable factor is present on every call? So this is how you have to think about this. Okay, what is the predictability, the predictable revenue on every call, and what predictable factor is present on every call? Okay. Now these service agreements, you know, I promote a $99 service agreement because I don't want a customer not to have a service agreement. I'm not opposed to giving them away because I gave a lot of them away in a marketing deal with public television. I gave them a value rate contract. Well, shoot, 5,000 service agreements that week over public television auctions they used to have years ago. You know, I just donated as many as I could give to them so I could pick up those customer base because I'm going to clean them anyway, right? So I gave away the $99 for the price of the agreement, but I got the cleaning. So it was a marketing play. Okay. So the predictable factor on every call is dirt. Eliminate the overselling by technicians. Too many technicians I know of and have seen, and I've seen your companies, seen a lot of the companies, seen a lot of companies over the years here. Technicians want to oversell because they don't understand the dirt is present. And the cleaning is present. So they're out there saying this amp's drawing high and they're lying. I'm not saying every one of them are, but I want to shield myself from any of my techs doing that because I don't want that to get anything like that out there for my company and give me a bad name, and you don't want that either. So motor is not predictable factor on every call. And yeah, the reason I'm going to go down this path here, you got to look at this at every call. And the technicians need to understand what is predictable, what is actually going to happen on every call. So motors are not predictable factor. Contactors are not a predictable factor for a repair or replacement. Capacitor is not predictable factor. Okay? No need to find anything. Really, guys. I mean, yes, put your gauges and your gizmos on. I'm not technical, as you can tell. But there's no need to find anything. It's already there. Okay? It's already there. Dirt will always be present. It's predictable. Okay? None of this other stuff is predictable. So how do you charge if you're doing this wrong? Okay? Well, you got to have a cleaning culture in your business. You have to teach your guys how to clean a system. Change the way you're currently operating. If you're not doing it this way, change the way you're currently operating. Understand your nomenclature. Okay? We do system checks. Okay? I don't do an evaluation of your system. I do system checks. I'm going to check your system. It's just the words. Okay? We're going to do a system check. Just check your system. I'm not going to evaluate any. Nobody wants to be evaluated. Don't use those words. Okay? It's a service check. Come in, do a service check on the system. You're going to check you perform a service. Check the system. Okay? Do a thorough evaluation of the system. These three things make the same thing. Okay? Just saying it three different ways, because people say it different ways. I personally like the system check, thorough evaluation of the entire system. Okay? It's the it's the explore step. It's the next star explore step is what you're actually doing. You're doing a service check, your system check, thorough evaluations for the entire system. That is the explore step. That is where we look at stuff and say, hey, what happened here? Okay? So you got to do the explore step. All these things mean the same. Service check, system check, thorough evaluation system, or the explore step. They all mean the same thing. Okay? 4 ways to say the same thing. I'm getting repetitive here. Okay? These are the same things. Communicate the meanings with your words. Okay, Joe, you're boring me now. If you are currently including cleanings in your service agreements, make sure you are selling at the right price. $99 is not the right price if you are cleaning the system. That's the a la carte price. Okay? Now, I've got a tool that I'm going to send to y'all on pricing these systems, and you know, I'll go back to the 1980s and 90s, 1990s mostly, so I get an HVAC side. But when I look at Ron's, what he was charging for it and what I was charged for, about the same thing during that time period. But it's basically $100 per component. Now today it might be $125 per component. You know, that was 24 years ago, right? So when I say component, your furnace, okay, or your air handler. I call the furnace and the air handler the same thing. One may just not have a furnace in it, it's just an air handler. But they both use the air handler. So I call that a cabinet. Me being a plumber, that's the cabinet, the blower cabinet. Okay? Then there's the A coil, or the horizontal coil, which is your evaporator coil inside. That's your second component. And then your third component is the outside condensing unit. So I got $100 for the air handler system, furnace, $100 for the evaporator coil, and $100 for the outside condensing unit. And these are routine cleanings. So basically, after I've been out there the first time if it's caked on dirt or whatever, I'm going to charge what I need to charge to do that. But once you got it charged, you go back every 6 months, it's going to be a routine cleaning. And that's why I say $100, $100, $100 if you're doing each one of those components. Like sometimes you can do the air handler furnace and the evaporator coil, and then the next time you can do the air handler furnace, evaporator coil, and then the condensing unit, because it's too cold in the middle of winter to do it. Okay, so those are gives you some ways to, you know, one time you're getting $200, next time you're getting $300, you average out $250 a trip. Now I understand that was 20 years ago, okay, and you may move that price up to $125, $150 per component there. When I say component, I mean air handler furnace, evaporator coil, and condenser. Okay, hope that helps. I'm trying to make this as clear as possible, so I thought I'd do this. All right, guys, take care. If I can figure out how to get rid of this thing. Here we go.